Welcome to Light at Speed. In this episode, we'll be talking about DMX. Welcome to another edition of Light at Speed with remote-controlled lighting and precision lighting. This video is also one part of a series of videos in which I talk about different lighting control methods and try to clear up misunderstandings between them. In this video, we will be discussing DMX. When you think of DMX, you might think of a disco light or a smoke machine, and you would not be wrong, as most disco and stage lights are absolutely DMX controlled. DMX 512 stands for Digital Multiplex with 512 pieces of information and was developed in 1986 by the United States Institute for Theatre Technologies Engineering Commission. It was intended as a theatrical control system to standardize the way in which stage lighting is controlled. Previously, the companies that made products for theatre used their own proprietary systems which didn't work well together. DMX is so useful in theatrical situations because it sends out lots of information very quickly. In fact, a full DMX signal is sent in 23 milliseconds and they're continuously sent out, making it ideal for very fast acting installations or shows. It operates at near real time, meaning that I can move a slider on a dimmer or a joystick to physically re-aim a moving spotlight and the fitting would respond almost instantly. DMX is carried along a bus of two twisted conductors and a ground conductor. But the official DMX standard is two pairs of two twisted conductors and a ground. DMX is always wired in a daisy chain line topology. Topology being the arrangement of how devices are connected on a network. In a daisy chain, the DMX signal cable connects to the first light, which is then connected in parallel to the next light, and so on. A DMX cable run can be no more than 400 meters long, with no more than 32 devices connected on a single line. If more than 32 devices are required though, one can use powered DMX splitters to split the DMX signal into many buses and electronically isolate them from each other. At the end of each DMX chain, a terminator resistor is placed across them, DMX plus and DMX minus that is, to absorb signal reflections which can cause interference. DMX cabling normally uses two standard connections, but it's not limited to them. These are XLR5 and RJ45, which is also used in computer networking. XLR3 is widely used too, but as microphones use it as well, it's best not to use it to avoid plugging a microphone into a lighting desk. DMX is a digital protocol, meaning it communicates using digital signals of on and off pulses. But unlike DALI, which sends phrases, DMX sends up to 512 channels of data, and each channel is given a value of 0 to 255, and all of these channels are sent out together somewhat dumbly, and it's up to the luminaires connected to it to read those signals and respond. Normally, DMX-enabled luminaires use either a single channel to control a single parameter like dimming, or two channels to control a parameter that needs more than 255 increments like movement. You might want sub-degree movement, and so you need two channels. Where a luminaire parameter uses a single channel, it's called 8-bit control, and where it uses two channels, it's called 16-bit control. DMX fittings need to be addressed, which is the process of telling a fitting which of the 512 channels it should be watching for and responding to. It's possible to address multiple lights to the same DMX channels, which would make them all act identically. Each DMX channel, sometimes called a slot, contains 1 byte of information. Each channel has the ability to represent a number between 0 and 255. Traditionally, for dimming, a value of 255 would represent 100%, and a 0 value would represent the off state. For 50%, either 127 or 128 is used, and in binary they look like this. DMX is also successful because once it's been installed correctly, it's incredibly strong. The cables used in theatre are normally quite chunky and can handle being stepped on by a roadie or tripped over by a fan. In non-theatrical installations, like commercial or domestic use, DMX is still widely used where fast control is needed, or where a DMX control desk like this one might need to be plugged in occasionally to control the lights. If the DMX cables are in a ceiling though, they're not likely to be trampled by the vast horde of light at speed fans. So the cables don't need to be as thick, but they must be the right ones to avoid issues. One of Belden's DMX cables, or Cat5 or Cat6 network cable, is fine. The twisted part of the twisted pair relates to the DMX cables being twisted around each other inside the cable. This is done to reduce electromagnetic interference, which DMX can be very susceptible to. DMX also has no way of detecting errors in the signal caused by that interference, and most DMX luminaires will blindly do what they think they're being told to do. In poorly wired installations, with the wrong cables placed next to mains power cables and lacking that crucial terminator, luminaires can move by themselves, flicker on and off, as if they're controlled by magic. It's therefore really important to keep the DMX cables away from sources of interference, and it's also why terminator resistors are critical. DMX can be bidirectional to luminaires, which have the capability to receive them. This is called RDM, and it stands for Remote Device Management. RDM enables the remote addressing of lights to tell them which of the 512 channels to respond to. It can also enable a luminaire to send back its current status. DMX controllers for commercial and domestic installations tend to be quite expensive when you compare them to 0 to 10 or DALI, and all DMX systems will require some level of commissioning by a specialist, which absolutely costs money. In conclusion then, DMX is fast, it's an amazing control system which offers individual luminaire parameter control. If it's installed correctly, with the correct cables, correct connectors, and terminator resistors, it's incredibly robust and won't require much maintenance in its lifetime. However, not all installers will know how to install it, and so a specialist will always be required, and they cost money. DMX also has no signal error checking, and there is no standardized dimming curve. But it gives incredible flexibility to an operator wanting to create an amazing quick reacting light show, which wouldn't be possible with 1 to 10 or DALI. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, share and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. If you liked the animation at the beginning, be sure to check out Field Worldwide on Instagram, who made it for me. Bye bye.